What up, y'all? So think about it for a second here. This is pretty crazy, right? Like, if you remember when this whole thing started, and I started covering the WNBA and Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, and if you recall, early in the process, I wondered if fans would still be interested because I was like, oh no, like the Fever looked like trash at the beginning of the year. They had the first pick in the draft. It was expected they'd be bad. They go 1-8 to start the season. They had that monster schedule. And now look where we are. Yesterday's price ain't today's price, right? Where the Fever are rolling. And I honestly think that yesterday may have been the greatest day in WNBA history. No joke. Like, yesterday may have been the greatest day in WNBA history for this, in the sense that I saw Caitlin Clark fans praising Angel Reese all over the place last night after what Reese did, the 20 rebound performance, 19 points, 20 boards. She hit some face-up jumpers. And I bring that up because I think it's important in the sense of we've finally drawn that distinction. I think comparing Reese to Clark is only damaging Angel Reese, or was only damaging Angel Reese. And the more of the separation between the two, the more Angel can shine on her own. And I think you saw that. Last night, where people are no longer worried about this being a Rookie of the Year debate, right? Because you are being disingenuous at this point if you're arguing a Rookie of the Year debate. If you're a media organization pushing it, you're doing it for clicks. If you're a person pushing it, you're doing it to be a hater or different. There's no debate. It's over. It's done with. It's goodbye. Sayonara. All those things, and that will allow Angel to shine on her own, because when the Rookie of the Year thing was going on, it put unfair standards on her to be compared to Caitlin. And it led to people scrutinizing the weaknesses in Angel's game. And Angel can take a leap simply by making bunnies. Barbie makes bunnies around the rim. All of a sudden, her points per game go up. And I think her ceiling is very high as a result of that. You saw her try to add the face-up game and is working on that. So I think her ceiling is very high. And I think, she's going to get there. But in the meantime, Angel Reese is not the same tier of player. She is a tenacious rebounder, a really good defender, and the kind of player that helps any team win. And you saw her with the young girl last night. She looked relaxed and she smiled. But before that was the Storm and the Fever game. And there was so much that went on in that game. It was great. I mean, it was great. Not only did the Fever smack the Storm, but Caitlin had to tell them to stop crying. Stop crying. Think about where we came from at the beginning of the season, where Caitlin's fans were crying like, our poor baby. And now look at her. She's the one talking the smack and breaking the other team in a sense. And I said she would come through that and she would emerge through that unscathed, and it would make her better. What happened to her at the beginning of the year. And we've seen that. And all the stuff that happened with the Storm was glorious. The Skylar Diggins-Smith thing is glorious. You see the same people, the same ilk of people trying to push that as if we're in the same period we were early in the WNBA. Oh, these jealous women are out together. Yeah, Skylar was pissed, right? Caitlin was gesturing to their bench, but that's great sports stuff. And we've seen the conversation shift almost entirely to basketball now, rather than the garbage, socio-racial conversations that were happening around that really never had anything to do with this. I mean, again, as I said at the time, there's always nuance in any conversation, and I'm always willing to explore and peel back the layers and talk about the things that come together to make something a story. But the root of Clark's popularity was always basketball, and she's showing that now. And, the Storm's coach is all upset, and Skylar Diggins-Smith is all upset, and Jewel Lloyd's all upset. Meanwhile, Aaliyah Boston's hitting him with the bow, 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 and Kelsey Mitchell is going off and Caitlin's going off and Lexi Hull's hitting those shots. And Lexi Hull hitting those shots, that is huge because the Fever have missed that position all year. They've missed the 3-and-D wing. The 3-and-D wing who can play defense, obviously, and knock down the open shots. And Hull has had the hustle. She's had the hustle thus far, but she hadn't knocked down the shots. Now that she's knocking down the shots, I honest to goodness believe the Fever can beat anyone. If she, now I'm saying, I say it as if like one game means everything. Of course, if she can consistently knock down the shots, I think the Fever can beat anyone. Because the Fever already have 3 reliable scorers night in and night, 3 reliable producers night in and night out. You know, Caitlin's going to give you, at this point, it feels like 20 points and 10 assists. Kelsey's going to give you close to 20 points. Aaliyah's going to give you 15 to 20 points, close to 10 boards. And Aaliyah is an extension of Caitlin in the sense that she's also a really gifted passer and really sees the floor well. So if the person that's playing off of them, if Lexi Hull's playing off of them in the corner, is going to hit those catch and shoot opportunities, I don't know how you guard them. I don't know how you guard them. They're just going to need to play passable defense. And I think their goal of simply making the playoffs is a really conservative one, given what we're seeing now, because I think they're a legit threat. And I think Caitlin's going to make the MVP a real conversation by the end of the year too. Or she already starting to, but I think it's going to get even bigger because, you know, I know it's like everybody said, it's Asia, how dare you say anything else? Well, I mean, look at the numbers Caitlin's putting up. Look at the numbers Clark is putting up. If the Fever keep winning and let's say they finish the season with a winning record after the way they started and she continues on the pace that she's on, why can't she be in the MVP conversation? She'll certainly, I think, at worst, finish second or third by then, at worst. But I think she's going to make it a real thing. I mean, she's been too good. What did she do over her last 3 games? I saw the numbers. She's had something ridiculous. Actually, I think I took a screenshot of it. Hold on one sec. The last 3 games, Caitlin... 25 points, 13 assists on 50% field goals. And in July, she averaged 20 points and 12 and a half assists. So if she keeps that up, how's she not in MVP conversations? And I see, everybody always wants to wait. And why? There's no need to wait. Why aren't the Fever contenders now? Why not? Why isn't Caitlin in the MVP conversation? Why not? Why not? I mean, other than like, we have to wait for a period of time to pass just because, versus the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is plain to see. This is a dangerous team, and she is one bad shut your mouth. You know, and so are her teammates too. You know, so is Aaliyah, so is Kelsey Mitchell. They deserve, I mean, Kelsey Mitchell got hated on by some of the fans for whatever. I mean, she sees the basket first. That's what scorers do. But she's averaging like 27 points a game since they got back. They got the 3 bona fide All-Stars. If they can get something when, you know, anybody to spell Caitlin, Erica Wheeler can give them a few minutes here and there. And maybe they get Temefek Benley back. I mean, really feels like they're darn close. It really does. So, I don't know. What are we waiting for? Why we gotta wait? For what? And I am happy it's about basketball now too. Because that's been the biggest change, I think, is the people who are even going with the Skylar Diggins-Smith thing and trying to turn it into a thing. I don't even think that's working for them. So that's good. They're trying to squeeze the last bit of juice out of whatever they hate her. And yeah, Jewel was pissed after the game too. Didn't want to answer a question about Clark. So what? And the Skylar thing is great. Like if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, you should love the fact that Skylar did that because it showed how much she's in their head. And then Caitlin's instigating. Look, right? Caitlin was in front of the Storm bench doing that. She's instigating. And then she's saying, stop crying. So it is what it is. But yeah, overall, I thought that was just a tremendous day for the WNBA. From the Storm and Fever game to the Fever looking the way that they looked, to everything that transpired with the Storm in shambles, to Caitlin continuing to dominate, to the Aces, having a big game against the Sparks. And there was some negativity from that game with what went on with Hamby, but still, the kind of thing that's a kind of like sports discussion that would happen in a male sport where the fans out of line, like that kind of thing. And then Diana Taurasi and the Mercury getting the best of the Sky, but Angel Reese having a big performance. And like I said, I think Clark fans starting to recognize Angel Reese and appreciate Angel Reese because there's no longer this force-fed WNBA Rookie of the Year debate. That was mostly a media creation. It was mostly a media creation and a creation of people who didn't want to give Caitlin Clark credit. And they almost used like Angel as like their avatar, right? And then they had the double streak and they got to plant their double doubles. I never heard double doubles talked about so much in my life, ever. All of a sudden, the double was the single most important thing that could happen. Didn't matter whether a team won or lost the game. Didn't matter if the person who got the double hit a shot to get to the point threshold. Didn't matter if they stab padded to do it. Didn't matter. As long as there was a double, as long as a double transpired and occurred, all was right with the world. Because the double streak was what could be like, it was a crutch. It was a crutch to use against Caitlin. Well, you can't make Caitlin Clark the Rookie of the Year. Look at the doubles. Look at them. Oh, they're shiny doubles over there. And now all that stuff is, kaput. And Angel is a star in her own right, like I said a billion times. Because then you also get the Clark fans who are like, Angel doesn't move the needle like Caitlin. Stop it. Okay, yeah, she doesn't. Nobody does. But that doesn't mean she's not popular. Doesn't mean she don't have fans. Right? I mean, come on. We see it. Saw that little girl following her around with a rich dad, getting her courtside every time. But yeah, I think yesterday was a truly awesome day for the WNBA. And we're truly seeing Caitlin Clark come into her own, where the conversations are about to get uncomfortable, but they're all going to be basketball related. It's not going to be the other nonsense. It's going to be like, you can't say Caitlin Clark's the MVP. You can't say Caitlin Clark's the best this or that or this, whatever. Like, it's going to be that instead of whatever took place at the beginning of the year, which is good to see. Definitely good to see. Okay, I'm going to get you guys comments here in a second. Real quick, like and subscribe to the channel below, please. Check out Women's Fastbreak on SI, the women's basketball website I'm running through Sports Illustrated. And if you want to play fantasy football against me in the fall, the link to that is below. As of like an hour ago, there are only 3 spots left. So if you want to be in it, I suggest signing up now. If you want to be a part of that, because there are only a few spots left. Fantasy football, Women's Fast Break on SI. The links to that are in the description. The rest of the show is yours because I have said my piece. Let me get to the comments section. We'll start with Kevin Zwicker. Fever look legit. He also says Reese is a fan of the Fast Count. That's his wrestling channel. I went to Fanatics Fest over the weekend with my son. And I got to tell you, wrestling took over that Fanatics Fest. It took it over. There were so many Yeet shirts there on Saturday. I couldn't believe it. JUSO, for those of you who don't know. But the wrestling energy was just a whole different kind of energy. They did this activation with wrestler entrance music where, you pick which entrance music you want to come out to and you did your wrestler entrance. And not only did everybody who did that have fun, but everybody around it had fun. Like everybody in line, it was singing along or getting hyped or booing or cheering or throwing their ones up, whatever the entrance music occasion called for. My son has been asking me to start a wrestling YouTube channel as well. That might become a side hobby down the line here. AJ Schreiber, any chances of conspiracy to give CC MVP and then let Angel have Rookie of the Year? Could anyone see that happening? Well, that's stupid because there's no way you could be the MVP and not the Rookie of the Year. That doesn't make any sense. Like, how could you possibly be the MVP and not the Rookie of the Year if you're the MVP? Remember, that's not unprecedented for a rookie to win MVP either. Candace Parker did. She won Rookie of the Year and MVP. I think it's going to be really hard for Caitlin to win MVP. Like, Caitlin would have to overwhelm to win MVP. Not to say she wouldn't deserve it. Not to say she's not working herself into the conversation. I already think she has. But to win it, that's going to be a tough hill, because some of the old guard folks would, they're going to hang on to that cliff until you step on every damn finger. CC second best shooter on the Fever. Lexi Hull number 1. Well, Lexi's going to have to do that a little bit more consistently because Kelsey Mitchell's also the second best, might be the best shooter on the Fever. Quiet as kept. But they need Lexi Hull. They need that position. They've been desperate for that position. And if she can fill it, that goes a long way to changing the entire equation. Long way to changing the entire equation. All right, let me get to some of the rest of you guys. Robert says, yes, Indiana Fever are definitely serious contenders. Frank Armstrong with Teme back, yes. Joe Lala says, thoughts on Alyssa Smith's future, 3 points in 20 minutes. I don't think Alyssa is a big part of the future for the team. I think her focus, effort, and energy can wane, and defense can wane at times. She definitely has some talent, but I don't think she is a necessary piece for the team moving forward. B. Witch says, if they keep playing team ball, and I'm talking to Mitchell, they are unstoppable. Boston is passing like CC. Mitchell, after the break, has been getting 3 assists per game. That's a 300% increase. Look, Kelsey's first look is the bat. Like, she's not the first player like that, and most teams can use a player like that. The next game is on Saturday. It does seem far away, but I think it's good to space it out a little bit after the beginning of the season. And also, if you want the Fever, particularly Caitlin Clark, to play well, the longer she has between games, the better she plays. That is starting to look like a statistical fact almost when it comes to CC. Got some thumbs up and muscles. Lord Schaefer says, Rob, is that saying hi? Not sure. Katie says, Fever girls are clicking. Got to give it to Christy Side. She's figuring it out. I think Fever could make it far in the playoffs, depending on if they meet in one round. Oh, yeah. That's right. Christy Sides. Anybody want to give her credit? The team's improved this much. The coach has nothing to do with it? No? Would anyone else like to offer Christy Sides even a morsel, a smidge of credit? Martel Parks is showing me some Reese numbers. Look, I know Reese's numbers, but who cares? There's no need to compare her to Caitlin anymore. It's over. Done. It's not a thing. Stop trying to make fetch happen, Ernesto says, Caitlin has that Mamba mentality. What up, Ernesto? Ernesto is in the fantasy football league, by the way. Like I said, but as of the start of this show, there were 3 spots open. Drafts in 2 weeks. So 3 spots to fill in the and I did have 2 people text me about it earlier today, so they seem to be interested. So if you want to be in it, we may actually be running out of spots sooner rather than later. Bow, bow, bow does not need to go. It perfectly fits Aaliyah Boston's personality. And yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, I would probably take the liberty to win the championship, but here's the thing. They don't got Caitlin Clark, you know? The one big advantage for the Fever in pretty much every game is that they have Caitlin Clark. And then they also have Boston and Mitchell. The questions were defense, rebounding, and shooting. And they're looking to look a little bit better on defense. Doug Phelps says, I think I saw Shannon Sharp say the reason the Storm were upset is because they were trying to get Caitlin pulled so she couldn't. I don't know what they were upset about. It might have been Caitlin gesturing in front of their bench. It might have been the starters not being. Who cares? I mean, that's sports. That's fun. That's part of the fun spot. That's nothing to be upset about. That was nothing. I mean, all the stuff has been mostly nothing. It's been the talking heads who have like blown it up. And of course there was some, I'm not going to lie and say there wasn't some, I want to say resentment is the word towards Caitlin. I think there definitely was, but I don't think it was a, as big a, like, international incident as people made it out to be. Come on, man. The Fever is going to the finals. I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't have thought so in the past, but it's possible. It's possible. Fever already have the same amount of wins right now with 12 games left in the regular season they did last year. That's something to be proud of. That is true. Basil says Clark is certainly more valuable to her team. The Aces have a shot to win without Asia. I'm not sure the Fever are in the same situation. Oh, the Fever look miserable when Caitlin's not on the floor. AJ with a super chat. Robin, did you mean it when you said you think Mercedes has a chance to overtake Red Bull in the Formula One championship? Quite the hot take. Yeah. I think it's pretty clear. Like if I could drive a Mercedes or a Red Bull, I think I might, take the Red Bull to make sure I'm focused behind the wheel of the Mercedes, but I'm going to go with the Mercedes. Kevin Zwicker, go Aces. Kevin, an Aces fan. Couple more super chats. Crash Out King, I joined his spaces the other day. If you guys want to check out those post-game spaces, they're pretty entertaining. Way more variance in the WNBA playoffs versus the NBA. Only need to win 8 games to win a title. Fever can make a run this year, in my opinion. Look, they just smacked the Storm, right? They smacked them, and they smacked the Mercury, really. Like, Mercury came back. It was a close game, but they were up 28 points in that game. They've already beaten the Liberty. They're 5-0 in their last 5 games against winning teams. They've got 3, not pretend all-stars, bona fide all-stars. They got the best lead guard, point guard, maybe the best player in the game. And they've got, they needed these ancillary pieces to step up. And if I'm serious, if Lexi Hill can make those shots, they can beat anybody. Because she's already there. They've already been better with her on the court from a plus-minus standpoint and the way they've played. If she can bury those shots, it's gonna be scary. Parrish Duggar, support to the channel. Thank you, sir. Mr. Overnight Radio in New York City. Anyway, Caitlin has been better than advertised. Christy has improved. No doubt. And guys, by the way, obviously we know what the focus of this channel has been, but if you're super chatting, we can talk about whatever you want. If you want to ask me a Knicks question, you can ask me a Knicks question. Question about FanFest. Like I said, I was there. The wrestling stuff really was big there. The 2 biggest pieces of energy were around WWE and people trying to catch a glimpse of Jay-Z, who was up in this. They had like a pop-up 40-40 club there. But thank you for your support to the channel, and thank you for going all the way back to the ESPN New York radio days. For those of you who listen to me and Ryan on that channel, and you hear Ryan calling the games now, he and I text back and forth all the time about this stuff. But I appreciate it very much. What do I think about a possible suspension coming? Look, just don't get the technical fouls, and if it's going to happen, get it out of the way in the regular season. I don't know how it works as far as the playoff rules go. Yaz, okay. Yeet. I want Berger to be the backup guard and not Wheeler. We'll see. I mean, look, Christy Sides has shown she can adjust and learn. It usually takes the coaches a little while. And Wheeler's making a pretty penny. I think she's the highest paid player on the team. They are 1-4 against the top two teams in the East, so the short answer is no. Well, when's the last time they played one? Because the last time they played the Liberty, they beat them. They haven't played the Sun in a minute. It's a different team now. I don't think you can use the early season record as a barometer for where they are now. Randy King says, Caitlin. Yes, she's popular. Martell says it signaled that Iowa CC is here. Well, look, she's got the keys, right? She's got the keys. Sue Ellen Buchanan, what do you think it would take for CC to actually win the MVP if the Feeder made it to the final? So when do they do the WNBA MVP voting? I mean, 2023. The results came out on, this doesn't have a date. Come on, y'all. You gotta give me a date here. Okay, October 15th, 2023, Breanna Stewart was named WMVP. So, no, I mean, like, this is all before, the finals would occur. I think what it would take is for the Fever to be next to the Aces in the standings. For Caitlin to continue her current level of play and the Fever to be next to the Aces in the standings or close to the Aces in the standings, which is a hill to climb. I mean, they're 5 games back. But let's say they go on a hella run and they're within a game or two of the Aces, then I think it starts to be a real thing. I mean, the numbers are going to be there. Can you relate? A laugh. Maddox says the Liberty are winning it. Ernesto says, let's go Liberty. Look, I mean, I'm not saying the Liberty aren't winning it. I must have said something funnier before. I mean, I often do. Oh, we got another fantasy football. So that might mean only 2 spots left. Unless you're one of the ones that already signed up. But thank you to everybody who's participating in that. We'll keep a running tally. We'll update it throughout the show and everything. But we're almost there. That would, if I'm right in assuming XZ06 was not there before the show started, that means there's 2 spots left. That's it. I wouldn't want to see Indiana in the playoffs if I'm a top team. They may not be the favorites quite yet, but they could beat anyone in a 3-game series. Agreed. I mean, they're offensively, they might be the best team. In fact, check this out. Where was this stat? I think it was that Clark Report account. Let me see if I can find it. Clark Report. Yeah. So the Fever in the last 15 games are top 2 in the WNBA in points per game, field goal percentage, and opponent's field goal percentage. So over a 15-game span, they are top 2 in the clip that they're hitting shots at, top 2 in the clip that they're holding their opponents to, and top 2 in points per game. That is a winning formula. I don't think people have come to grips with it yet, but that's real. And yes, I think the Fever have a chance to compete this year. Not saying they're going to win it. Not saying they're the favorite. But it wouldn't shock me. AJ, what are you fighting with people about in this chat here? You know what? DS, when will Ruko be on the show? We've been going back and forth on scheduling. He's a busy guy. And he's always flying around, but we have been working on locking that down. I promise you he will make an appearance on the show, or at least the channel. Kevin says, did you mean it when you said Danielson is the GOAT? I don't think people know what you're talking about, but I do not think that Bryan Danielson is the GOAT. No. Roman Reigns is the GOAT, or The Rock, or Stone Cold Steve Austin, or Shawn Michaels, or The Undertaker, or Hulk Hogan. All GOATs before Bryan Danielson. Yeah, K. Mitch is look we've all seen them. We've all seen the players who they got their eyes fixed on the basket first. And it helps to have a player like that. You don't want a team full of players like that, but a player like that who's good at it, that helps. That helps. Yes, Charles. I mean, I think that's the key. Is Lexi really just hitting those shots and being a threat? Because if that happens, the Fever are in business. Whoa, wow, guys. I'm just looking at the numbers on YouTube. This has to be a new record for concurrent viewers on the YouTuber there. So thank you. I must be pretty good at this. The W is stupid enough to do something like AJ suggestion. Oh, this is going back to when he said that Angel would win Rookie of the Year and Caitlyn would win MVP. Should we give sides time to develop a young coach? Yeah, I mean, I was the one who was defending sides, and everyone called me a moron. Look at me now. You know, I'm not always right, but I usually am. You know, that's the way I would put it. I'm not always right, but I usually am. PH Liberty says CC is playing as well as Asia right now, but Asia has done it all year, so realistically, it's not going to happen for Clark this year. Should get plenty of second to fifth place votes. I agree with this. I think the way the season started will ultimately be what keeps Caitlyn from the award this year, but I do think she will finish second, and I do think she will do enough to make it like a talking point. And I think she's already doing that because her numbers are so good. The only way she can make it a real conversation or a real thing this year is if, let's say, the Aces, who look a little long in the tooth to me, let's say the Aces drop 3 games in a row at the same time as the Fever win 3 games in a row. Then because the Aces have the Lynx and the Lynx back to back. Let's say they drop those 2 games. I'm not saying they will, but let's just say they do. And the Fever win the next 2 more games. All of a sudden, those 2 teams are getting awfully close in the standings. And if the Fever are sitting next to them in the standings, it'll be something. I give sides a bit of credit. Tom on Sports says, my thought on Mitchell's free agency is if you can get a player with the same talent, okay, you can let her go, but it doesn't seem likely, so they should renew her. They should max her. They should max her. Look, I mean, just the fact that the WNBA is being mentioned on the sports shows it's come a long way, DS. And look, the WNBA as a whole, no. Caitlin Clark is as big as any athlete in sports right now. We were having this conversation in the group chat, me, Kevin, and AJ, because there was some Fox Sports broadcaster who got all bent out of shape because someone on his show said that Caitlyn was a bigger star than Aaron Judge, and she's easily a bigger star than Aaron Judge. Like, I don't even think that's even remotely close. But I had told those guys I think she's a bigger star than anybody in the NFL, like singularly. The only American athletes who I think are on the same level of fame and notoriety as Caitlin Clark are LeBron James and Steph Curry. Basketball players are just more famous than NFL players, even though the NFL is more popular. Who's the most famous player in the NFL? Travis Kelce, because of Taylor Swift, Mahomes, and Rodgers. Those are the guys. Mahomes is the best player, but it was Tom Brady. Tom Brady might have been in this conversation, but he didn't play anymore. And then worldwide, you got to throw Ronaldo and Messi in there. But that's about it. That is about it. Caitlin in the MVP race. Fever already beaten Liberty and Lynx. Sides was an idiot not playing Lexi Helper month. No pass for side. They only played like 15 games, yo. Sometimes it takes a second to adjust. Sides get some credit. She's not trying to control from the sideline as much anymore. She's been horrible. I thought she was great in the Phoenix game. I thought resting Caitlin Clark when she did was very, very wise. I think Caitlin was gassed clearly, had burned herself out, and she got her in a position to be ready for the fourth quarter. CC for the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is going to be in Indianapolis, like the All-Star game is getting to be in Indianapolis. I'm in a live stream. You don't have car keys? Sorry, I'm being interrupted to pass off the car keys. I got this Deadpool and Wolverine keychain out of a claw machine. I actually won it, which is a rare occurrence. Where are you going? Chuck E. Cheese again? They've been going to Chuck E. Cheese like every night. I got basketball tonight. Sorry. Where was I? I'm already tired too, y'all, because I did radio today too, 3 hours of radio. And we were pumping out content on Women's Fast Break on SI last night. Shouts to Grant Young for the help he's given me with that. Brett the Hitman, Macho Man. I don't even know where these wrestling things are coming from now, which part of the conversation it was. So many chats. They have 2 more games against the Aces and 1 against the Sun. I want to see them against the Aces. 11-5 in their last 16 games. I would hope the likelihood of Mitchell staying is high. That's up to her, but I would think they'd pay her. I would respect and appreciate Coach Saj. You don't go to Russia for 6 years if you're not trying to get better. Kind of petty, but in the Liberty's last 10 games, they're 9-1, and the Fever are the 1. Agreed, Thomas. They need that from Kelsey, especially like those late shot clock situations. Tom says for CC to be the MVP, she has to have like 4 or 5 triple doubles and win 11 out of the 12 games left. Bernie says UNESCO is too slow. Look, Sabrina's a really good player. Really good player, but she's not as dynamic as a Caitlin Clark. Often the best team doesn't win a knockout competition league usually. Look, the Fever are getting there too. Nothing competes with TV ratings for the NFL. But if the Fever were to get in the finals, I think they would beat or be very equivalent to the NBA finals. And possibly beat the World Series. Maybe. Boxing and Bulldog says got the Fever to win the championship at 61. Dropped to like 30-1 after. If you've shown the odds for top 5 MVP, AJ can probably find the latest odds for us. The last time I checked, it was Asia, Caitlin, and Sabrina. The Aces have 0 chance against the Fever. There you go. Max contract for Mitchell. One legit tech when she yelled it was an effing foul. Oh, here we go. Asia Wilson, A's is minus 3,000. Caitlin Clark, Fever plus 8. Yeah, that was the latest odds I saw. By the way, minus 3,000 is about what Caitlin is as a favorite for Rookie of the Year. So, to be fair, if I'm saying the Rookie of the Year thing is not a discussion, according to the odds, right now the MVP is not a discussion. But I do agree with this, that Caitlin is legitimate in that regard. It was clear she had burned herself out. Some of the fans don't think that, and I can give sides credit because she kept her out for a minute. That's the longest I think I've seen her sit down. In the third quarter? I think she asked out early in the game. I'm talking about the third quarter when she sat for a prolonged stretch. Why don't this league acknowledge Caitlin Clark as an MVP? It's coming, yo. Oh, Rad Kids reviews. Daddy, hi. That's my son's. You can change it to Yeet there. Raj, you might as well, if you're going to do the wrestling thing, just change the whole brand. Holy crap, y'all. There's so many chats in here. I'm trying. Consider a super chat if you want to make sure you get your comment read. CC could lead them to the chip. People scared to say it. I'm with you, man. It took a minute. I'm not scared to say it. But you still have it's so weird. It's like they made this basketball thing into something else where you got to be I think Caitlin Clark is good at basketball. You racist. What? CC's actually got an edge on Asia on effective field goal percentage. That's an interesting note. Look, I think Caitlin's going to wind up finishing second, is my guess. But she moved up plus 500 according to DraftKings. If Caitlin doesn't make the All-WNBA team, it's a crime. She should be the starting point guard on the All-WNBA team. What do you think, guys? Should I do it or not? I'll let the chat decide. Should I get Raj Madden 25? He's asking me. Madden 25 for Raj. Thumbs up or down in the chat. Raj, you keep watching. You'll find your answer here in a second. Why are we just submitting the MVP to Asia? The Aces are the fourth. Well, look, I think it's a couple things. One, Asia has been great, right? And deservingly, has put up the numbers to deserve the MVP. That's number one. But number two is we've seen it all year with Caitlin. There's this, reverence tax she must pay before people are allowed to say what is true in front of them. So that's part of it. So we got a thumbs up for Madden, a yes from Miss Finns. Kayla says thumbs up. Kevin says thumbs up. I think that's the thumbs up habit. Raj, you can get Madden 25. Go ahead and purchase it on your PlayStation. I think you already have my information in there. Thank you for not abusing it. I'm letting you make this joke. I would not make the joke. I don't want to talk. I've never heard so many race conversations in basketball before. And obviously that's a joke because of what Jackie Robinson really went through. That's a real serious and not obviously even in the same realm or stratosphere or galaxy or any of those things. I mean, you forget about what guys like Jesse Owens and Jackie Robinson really went through. I mean, it's not even that far back historically that, in the grand scheme of things, you still have people arguing for Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, right? Magic Johnson and Larry Bird are only 10 and 15 years, past the point where Black people were not allowed to go to the same schools and use the same water fountains and all that. So all that stuff is real. There is deep-rooted institutional things that have taken hold in America that over the years have changed and adapted and evolved. So, I don't ever want to make light of anything like that. I just meant when we're talking about basketball, I never thought we would reach the sort of discourse that happened earlier in the year around Caitlin Clark, who really has only been about basketball. Connie Hawkins says Temi gets back in Indiana, will be in the mix for a championship. JGD says if the outrageous tech on CC holds up, it becomes a precedent for tech showing disrespect for the game. Yes, she disrespected the game. That's right. That's what she said the ref did. Do it says Frank. That's for Madden. also, I believe. If the Fever can beat the Sun and the Aces, they will prove to themselves they can beat anyone. Another do it for Madden. Doug says this. Yes. All right, Raj, you got Madden. I don't know if you're still watching. Did you respond in the chat? I hope you were seeing it. I got enough super chat money today to pay for Madden. That might be true. Sab, AJ Fee, CC Stewie. Who gets left off the first team? So to me, Clark and Sabrina would be the backcourt. Kalia Copper, I would have at the 3. I think at this point it's Stewart. Just because she's not having as strong a year, but that could change. Oh, no. Fee might be off too. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be, how many games did Nafisa miss? That would be almost my tiebreaker. To me, on that list, it comes down to Stewart or Nafisa. Nafisa is probably having a better season, but she also missed a decent chunk of time there for a minute. She's played 22 games. How many games does Brianna Stewart play? Let's look at this real quick so I can be actually accurate and fair here. Brianna Stewart has played okay, so it's only 3. It doesn't make enough of a difference, but I think it'll come down to those two. Go get Kennedy. She looks so annoyed at the Sky and all the bully ball tactics. Look, the Sky are they are an interesting team, and Kennedy is a bit of a firecracker herself. Connie says Asia does it on both ends of the court. She does. Ernesto says Raj deserves it. He does. CC is number 2 for MVP for sure. I'm with you, Parrish. Like I've said this, I don't know if you watched this show before, but I've said it a million times in the midst of this. I promise you, there are so many black fans of Caitlin Clark. Like you don't get as popular as she has been without being popular across the board. And she's a basketball player where, there's a probably bigger percentage of the audience watching basketball who happen to be black than many other things in life. Yes, I understand. And I don't doubt that whatsoever. I do not think black people do not support Caitlin Clark. Trust me. I've been making the opposite point ad nauseum all season long. It's only really loud people online, like, a handful of them, some of the old, some of the old, I don't want to be rude, but I don't even know if they're technically media or social media, but some of the old legacy W people, I'm not sure they watch basketball, to be honest with you. It's like a bunch of drama queens and dumbasses, if we're being real about it, given some of what I've seen out there. Remember, Cece is rookie. Yeah, she's a rookie, but whether she's a rookie or not doesn't matter if she's playing at this level. Shout out to the Philippines. Well, look, I think you look at the team's position because of what you think the player's impact on the winning is. Shouldn't be the only thing, but I think it factors it. Did she really call? I didn't see that, but I think she might have been playing around. I don't know. I don't know about this either. Is she wealthy? I didn't know. I never thought about it. I watched her at Iowa, in the tournament and then last year, but I couldn't tell you nothing about Iowa other than that. So it never came into my mind. I never thought, look at this white girl go. Oh, he's got to cut the grass. Wow. Let's not do this the other way either. Whether she called herself a gangster doesn't make her racist. And if she was upset about something the Fever did, doesn't make her racist either. Don't pull the nonsense on the other side. This is funny that has to be I saw one of the big Caitlin Clark super fan Twitter accounts. It's a a woman who revealed that she was black in the spaces, and everyone was like, "What?" It was like, really? I mean, look, William. I mean, it's like whether you're. I don't have to draw a distinction between who's a real black person or not real black. The bottom line is, if you like basketball, you like Caitlin Clark. You can't like basketball and not like Caitlin Clark. I just don't see how that's even possible. She earned $3 million. Oh well, I mean, look, but like, ain't Flage earning a ton of? Didn't Angel make a ton of money in college? So Alyssa just loses focus and effort. But I'm a big fan of Kelsey. Also, I don't want to say she sucks. That's a little unfair because that was nothing. Why would she get suspended? Barely touched her. Who cares? I mean, I've seen this stuff in basketball my whole life, like little incidents like that. It's not a big deal, y'all. That's the other thing is I also think, no offense to anybody who's in this chat, but I think there's also a lot of Caitlin Clark Iowa fans who didn't really watch basketball before Caitlin Clark. And that's okay, but I get that sense too. And I see this happening, KB, though. I do think the rising tide lifting all boats thing is happening. I think more people know who Tisha Penichero is now, for an example. More people are aware of the career that Diana Taurasi had now. More people are aware of who Asia Wilson is now. That's just the truth. Look, I think that's CeCe's pulled a lot of people in. Haven't watched the NBA since Pat Riley was coaching the Knicks. That's been a minute. I'm with you, Parrish. It's Caitlin's yeah, exactly. Ball don't lie. Real recognize real. Game recognize game. Whatever one of those phrases you want to use. It was funny when she walked up to her mad fast. She was pissed. But then Caitlin told her to stop crying. Come on, you should be drinking those tears like Cartman. Doug Phelps, 100% agree. I am an IO fan. Never watched WNBA prior to this year. Enjoying it, though. Yeah. And that's okay. I'm like, new fans are good. That's the other thing. Like the old fans some of them act like the people that supported a band before the band blew up, right? And then like, I used to like them before they got popular. Jacques Cousteau, the starting five for the Fever: CC, AB, KM, LH. Right now, it's Nalissa. I think it might be Teme when she fully gets acclimated. They get a big, good defender. They will go far. Can the Fever just go get Cardoso? I don't. I think that would be a target for the Valkyries, depending on how that works out. Yes, exactly, Kathy. The end of the game was effing cinema. I was like, that was hysterical. Like, if you're a Fever fan, you should be loving every second of that. From the Skylar Diggins push to the coach losing her mind to Jewel Lloyd being upset. Like, if you're a Fever fan, that's like delicious tears. The Storm were in shambles thanks to the Fever. Should make you thrilled. She's definitely smart. I mean, there was some confusion during the game about when she broke it. Yeah, we finally had people sticking up for Christy Sides. Stop crying. Salty Storm. Yeah. All good. All fun stuff. We still got a lot of people in here. My goodness. I was going to be like, all right, that's it for me, guys. But it's always hard for me to look at the the numbers, and then back out when we got as many people that are in here as are in here right now. So I'll go for a little bit longer. Keep sending the questions. No one yells at sides but us. I mean, I don't think you can ever say for sure. But I think it is she will be the favorite. Let me put it that way, I think. Or right there. I mean, look, Wheeler's the only other ball handler, so you can't really get rid of Wheeler right now. I understand not being a big fan, but you can't really get rid of her. Erica Wheeler is the only other option. The only other option. I'll say, Michael. Or, yeah, is it Michelle? Michael? Michael? LeBlanc. How about we go with LeBlanc? Definitely is. I mean, this is gonna set. It's got to be close to set. I don't know if I'll set the. It's hard to tell because of how many people will watch after the fact, but we're definitely got the most people who's ever watched at the same time. I think. I agree with you that it was funny. Maybe that's what you meant to say. Sure, but they don't until they get somebody better. She's the only option when Caitlin sits down. They do need a great wing. That's what Hull is. Not saying Hull is a great wing, but that's why Hull hitting those shots was so big. Everyone yells at sides until now. You know what the thing is? What I've seen though over the course of this year is this metamorphosis where there was a point in time where it was only about Caitlin and people were mad at the other fans or at the other players, and now like they're rallying around the Fever as a whole and the players on the Fever as a whole. So I think that's cool to see. I am a fan of that. And that will make everybody more popular. I mean, that's nice, but doesn't mean anything about basketball. I haven't seen Grace Berger play enough. No, it wasn't live during the game. That's true probably too, Parrish. I hope Mitchell isn't leaving either. Wow. Trying to keep up, y'all. Yeah, I mean, look, also like Caitlin's not the first person with stans or super fans. Not the first big player. Like I've had some people yell at me in the videos where I've compared Caitlin to LeBron. I don't care what you think about like LeBron's political views. Don't care. I don't care. Like if you don't like LeBron, don't care. That wasn't the point of any of the things I was saying about LeBron and Caitlin. The ways I've compared LeBron and Caitlin have nothing to do with any of that. Number one was the like amount of discussion that they generate and the haters that they have and all that stuff. That was one. LeBron is kind of the case study for that. And then two, Caitlin and LeBron are alike in the way that they dominate every facet of the game while controlling the basketball and directing the team, and making the team go. So in those ways, she is like LeBron. Thanks, Raj. Did you get your message about Madden? Nice sheet. Yeah, Jey Uso is so popular. I've interviewed Tom Brady twice before. They don't have an alternative to Wheeler, so they need to add that. They're going to do it. Kim Kelly, if the Fever don't offer Mitchell some serious money, she will be gone. Oh, yeah, they have to max her out. They have to max her out. It's insulting to not max her out. You either max Kelsey Mitchell out or you lose Kelsey Mitchell. Simple as that. And she deserves to be maxed out. Hopefully, she isn't hell-bent on leaving for whatever reason to have her own team or change the scenery. She's been there a long time. But yes, they should max her out. You don't think LeBron can handle the rough stuff? LeBron has handled everything. Come on. Let's be real about it. Rattle Shark. I love seeing Hull step up at threes. You think she is being trained to take? No. They're different players. Wheeler's a ball handler. They need a secondary ball handler now. Caitlin doesn't sit that much. So it's not for, just for like little spurts. Hull is being groomed to be the wing player that we were talking about they've missed. Katie Lou is not fast enough defensively. She can shoot, but she's not fast enough defensively. If Hull can hit the shots, she hustles, plays hard enough on defense, does all the gritty stuff. And in combination with Caitlin and Mitchell and Boston, if she's hitting those threes, that's why I really think they're a contending team with that. Now that it's only one game. She's got to hit it, got to keep it consistent. But she's going to play a lot if she's hitting outside shots. You don't expect her to hit 6 or 7, but if she can hover around that 35 to 40% mark, this is a good point too, Menace. Kelsey has gotten to the point where she's become a very good catch and shoot player, which has really helped. Yeah, LeBron was a little rude to that young fan, but you also got to remember you're LeBron James famous. People are running up on you all the time, and he's made it pretty consistent. He doesn't want people in his personal space. But even if he was, that has nothing to do with what I said about him and Caitlin. You have to be able to separate your personal feelings for what I'm talking about from a basketball standpoint. I think, again, LeBron, since he went to Miami, has been the most talked about, discussed, hated on athlete ever. And that's something Caitlin's sort of going through. And LeBron is, I've got the ball. I'm in charge. You're playing off me. I've got elite court vision. I'm making the decisions. That's Caitlin too. And I'm impacting every aspect of the game. Good to know, Kayla. Always appreciate your support. LeBron would have sent Bill Laimbeer through the basket. You really think there's any era LeBron wouldn't excel at? I got news. I got a rude awakening for you. Dude is Karl Malone's size. 6'8", 270, but moves faster than anybody else. He would have dominated those folks. Dominated them. Boston has to take the floater coming out of the pick and roll. Look, I think they're still learning all that stuff, but Boston has a nice touch. Telling you now, the Fever winning the championship this year. Look, I ain't mad at it. LeBron's a basketball genius, like Caitlin's a basketball genius. I mean, LeBron just won the Olympics MVP. Let go of what? I mean, this guy's been doing it for 20 years. Again, leave your emotions to the side. Leave your emotions to the side. Holy crap, we still got a lot of people in here. Well, she shot the three. What is Aaliyah Boston's 3-point shooting percentage too? I'd almost like to see her take a few more of those. What's Aaliyah shooting from 3? Let's look it up. By the way, Aaliyah seems like such a lovely young lady. She's shooting 40% from 3. I mean, she's not taking that many, but she shot 40% from 3 last year too, on a very small number of attempts. I mean, she's only taken 18 this year. She only took 10 last year, but she shoots 40% for her career on 28 shots. I'd like to see that volume come up a little bit, actually. What's up, Robert? Yes, the Lakers have let LeBron down. I agree with that. I disagree with this. Steph should not have won Olympics MVP. LeBron was better the course of the whole tournament. Steph had 2 good finishes And I love Steph. I love Steph. It was amazing what he did at the end of that gold medal game. But the Olympics is more than that. It was an entire tournament, and LeBron was the best player over the course of the tournament. That's why he won the MVP. It's simple as that. Yes, leaving emotions to the side, CC is a beast. I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, Boston is really starting to, they're like a 1-2 punch in that regard right now. Well, LeBron's team won. I'm talking about on the Team USA. Sorry if I was unclear. I meant on Team USA. The best part of side's offense, everyone has the green light from three. The Fever are a dangerous offensive team. Got to ask Steph this. I mean, who's been on the thank you. Who's been on the Lakers? LeBron won the in-season tournament just this year. What are you talking about? Got the in-season tournament championship. Fever need to move the basketball more. They have more options and easy shots. CC needs to score more. It gives team more options. Let me piggyback off that for 1 second. I do think sometimes Caitlin overpasses a little bit. She put Kelsey in a bad spot on one of those plays where she should have taken it to the hole herself. But one thing that was very noticeable in yesterday's game is Caitlin starting to take middies and starting to take floaters. And if that happens, look out. That Kevin Garnett had mentioned that perhaps Caitlin used the Olympic break almost like an off season. And you could see she was definitely in the lab. Definitely in the lab. And this Finns, I mean, the Fever over the last 15 games are top 2 in opposing field goal percentage. Top 2. In-season tournament, big deal. Kevin was the first ever. Michael Jordan will never win an in-season tournament. It's a fact. The Fever are probably not ready to win the championship. We will see over the next 12 games because they play some tough teams. If they beat them, the odds go up. I mean, they just played some tough teams. I don't know. I honestly believe if Lexi Hull can shoot at a good clip, they're dangerous. Bud says Sides gave the offense to CC at the break. Yeah, well, like something happened with the Fever where they realized what they have. Their whole social media tune changed. Their coach's tune changed. Everything about it changed. They were like, we ain't fumbling the bag. We ain't fumbling the bag. They have already beat the Lynx and Liberty. The only team they ain't beat is the Aces. Kayla says the good thing is CC is aware she sometimes passes too much. I mean, you could tell she worked on it. Good luck to your son, Ernesto. I would love it if they signed Gabby Williams. Would love it. I agree. Swept the Mercury, true. I'm not saying she shouldn't pass her the ball. I'm saying the position she was in, she should have taken it herself. Let's call it the LeBron Trophy. I think it's the NBA Cup or something like that. One more reminder, guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out Women's Fast Break on SI. Constant updates coming on that website with all the latest news in women's basketball. Obviously, we cover Clark and the Fever very heavily over there as well. Sign up for the Fantasy Football League if you haven't. I believe there are only 2 spots left. Hey, need your take on rebound points, double-double, and assist points, double-double. I just don't think double-double matters. Like, whether it was a double, I've never once, like a triple-double was always a thing because it was a little bit more of a rarity. And even once Russell Westbrook came through, kind of triple-double change things. You know, the triple double when I was growing up, like Oscar Robertson seemed like a mythical figure. Now his whole legacy is ruined because Russell Westbrook came through and did all those triple doubles. But a triple double, it was immortalized in the Ice Cube song, messed around and got a triple double. I mean, a double double was always cool, but I never heard it touted before. It was a regular occurrence. A points rebounds double double or a points assist double double. I can't tell you which is better without watching the game or seeing how the rest of the game came to be, right? Like, when were the rebounds had? How were the rebounds had? Did the team win? Did the players shoot efficiently? Like, a lot of it goes into it, other than double double or not. I mean, on the surface, a points assist double double is better only because assist guarantees you're scoring points. A rebound gets you another possession. It doesn't guarantee points. So just in a vacuum, a points assist double double is better. Not because Caitlin Clark is more likely to get that than Angel Reese, but because an assist means points were scored. I agree. That's always been my goal. What up, Raj? Did you change is this a different channel? Where are you coming from, man? Did you get your Madden yet? Angel would be a great fit for the Fever. Angel playing off of others is strong. All right, I'll read this. Of the 5,090 double-doubles in WNBA history, 7.8% of them have been achieved with a minimum of 10 points. Okay. So I don't know what that has to do with Angel necessarily. I see 8% of the double-doubles have been points assist double-doubles versus 91%. Well, look, WNBA has also always been a big, heavy league. Well, no, a double-double shouldn't be 20 points and 15 rebounds because the whole point of the double is double figures. You could say it shouldn't be celebrated, but you can't change what double figures means. This is probably true too, but probably Candace Parker did not know. Aaliyah has done everything well. You are right about that, Katie. Everything. If you're writing hateful or racially coded or any of those comments, I'm not reading them. Sorry, guys. The Fever have already locked up a playoff spot. You don't have to worry about that. I mean, sure, they're technically no, but they've locked up a playoff spot. Don't worry about it. Do not worry about it. Yes, that's the point of saying if she shoots like this. I don't know what's up with Temmie's hand. I don't know what's up. Something's up there. Hopefully she's all right soon. Boston looked like Jokic. I make my kids read an hour after school before they get in the games. An hour? That's a long time to read, yo. 20 minutes? No? I understand that technically the Liberty, I'm telling you the Fever are making the playoffs. You can yell at me if they don't. They're going to make the playoffs. I mean, look at the standings. What are the... Chicago is... They're 3 games up on the Atlanta Dream, the Fever. The Dream are not making up 3 games on the Fever. And the Sky are going to go in the wrong direction. The Sky are the team that is in danger of missing the playoffs. Severe danger of missing the playoffs. Because I'm looking at their schedule. This is the Sky schedule. Connecticut, Vegas, Washington, Indiana, Minnesota, Vegas. There's a good chance the Sky go on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game losing streak, or lose 6 out of 7 games. They can sneak that Mystics win, or 5 out of 7 games if they sneak another win. they're in trouble. Oh, clarification. He had already signed up, so still 3 spots left in the fantasy football league. 3 spots. Sign up if you want to play. It's full-time fantasy, by the way, through Circa in Vegas. Winner gets $1,000. Second place gets $500. If you're the overall points leader, you get if you're the overall points leader, not just in our league, but the overall points leader in the division of those leagues, you qualify for the Fantasy Football World Championships. The Sky don't have the players. They don't have the personnel. They don't have the creative guards. They can't shoot or score or create. Yes, Vonda, it is a paid league. So you pay to enter, and that's how the money gets divvied out at the end. I don't know if the Aces are better. I don't think the Aces are better. No, I mean, I know they beat the dude. I think the Aces are gettable. I do. I think they're long in the tooth in the backcourt. Yes, the last 2-game winning streak is proof they can beat anybody, I think. Mabry was a big loss for this guy. Big loss. I agree. Chelsea Gray does not look good in the backcourt. The MVP is mostly locked, but not all the way locked. The way the Fever are playing, I think they can beat any team. Not sure about winning a series versus some higher team. I don't know. Why not? No one's hating on the Aces. I'm just saying they're backcourt's barbecue chicken. That's all. Fever will run the Aces over. Can't wait till Temi comes back. I think the Fever can get the Aces also. Oh my goodness, this is we are a far cry from where we were, right? I can't remember if I read this chat or not. Making sure I get to all the super chats. Fever need to give basketball more. They have more options. Easy shot. CC. Yeah, I think I did talk about CC overpassing at the time, but I just wanted to make sure I read all the super chats and didn't miss that, because thank you all for your contributions in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about Dave Portnoy's bet. What would happen? They would win the championship. I don't know if it's the look. Chelsea Gray should not have been playing in Paris, and I agree with you, Parrish. It is insane. I mean, that's about as that's about as good a way to end this as there is. You know, that full circle. The full circle moment that I started this show with, which was that I remember the time when I was in here saying, are people going to want to tune out? Are people going to want to continue to watch? Are people going to, you know, all these things? And look where we are now. That is pretty incredible. That is pretty incredible. So I do, you know, there's so many people still watching. I just can't stream all night, guys. But I do appreciate all of the interaction on this channel, where we've gotten to here. I'll give you another couple minutes. So if you want to get any more comments in, send them in right now. Women's Fast Break on SI in the description. Click on that. Check it out. Check it out daily. Check out the articles. Click on the fantasy football link. Couple spots left in the fantasy football link or league. We just got a few spots left to fill. Fill it right now, and let's get that rocking and rolling. Her passing is so fun to watch. It certainly is. I did see what Shannon Sharp said. I think people are overreacting to the Skylar Diggins thing. I thought his comments were funny though, but I think everybody's overreacting to the Skylar Diggins thing. You know, that was not that big a deal. She was just salty. Just salty. And if you're a Fever fan, you should be thrilled with that. That's the kind of thing that's glorious. Sure, I can explain how the playoffs work. So 8 of the 12 teams make the playoffs. They're seeded by record. The first round is best of 3, and then it's best of 5 the rest of the way. Why? Sky Diggs write a book about CC fans? Who's the menace? What are we talking about here? Oh, menace to your mama? Yeah. All right, y'all. I think if the playoffs started today, Fever would be playing the Sun. This is also true too. I never thought of Skylar Diggins Smith. As somebody with loser cool like that. As an advocate against bullying, that was weird. I mean, that's not bullying. She got upset in the moment. Like, it happens on the basketball. It's happened to me on a basketball court. Like, who cares? Caitlin's bullying. If that's bullying, Caitlin's bullying by celebrating on the, on the other team's, in front of the other team's bench and telling them to stop crying. Wow, that's interesting. Look, the Fever are rested. Yes, first seed plays the 8th seed. It works like that. But that rest off will have the Fever ready to go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Winning is curing everything. It's always the case. This DT last dance, she's going to retire knowing she never beat CC. Feels so good for my soul. CC is a winner. That's true. They already, not till next year, Menace. They already been here twice. Thank you, Miss Finns. I appreciate that. Appreciate all y'all. All right, that will do it for me until the next live. Just check the schedule. Check out the channel. New videos all the time. Check out Women's Fast Break on SI. Check out the fantasy football. I'll be on with Denise Salcedo this Friday for SmackDown if you're a wrestling fan. And this is probably true as well. The Olympics probably did help. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, yeet.